So let's talk about that area just outside of the material of your cart path. So just outside the asphalt or whatever material you're using there, the cart path perimeter. Because I think if you blend that out and use some coloring there, it helps it look a little bit better. So the first thing I'm going to show you, which is really easy, and really you should already know how to do this because it's just another GFR, excuse me, is to create the perimeter around the cart path. So earlier in Unity, when I was here, and I said we want to do some like shading here and here, that's what I'm talking about. So how we're going to do that is we're just going to create another GFR. And I did that already. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because you should already know how to create GFRs from the earlier tutorial. So this GFR, I called it cart path perimeter. And here it is. Let me turn it on and let me disable the layer mask. And you can see all I did was I created this kind of brown speckly layer, this GFR. And then what I did is I went into my Inkscape shapes, okay? I found my, let me turn these on and go to my concrete. So I brought in my concrete, my cart pass, basically my whole 98 from Inkscape. I used my magic wand tool, okay? I made sure I'm on this layer. I selected it. And then you remember from that technique, I can do select, I can do modify, expand, and I think I expanded this maybe 3 pixels or 4 pixels, not much because you don't want it to go far outside here. So maybe 3 pixels. So I made that expansion. And then remember, we want to feather that so it's not a hard edge. So I feathered that, and I probably feathered that 3 pixels as well, maybe 2. Let's do 2. Again, this is all things you have to play with. You can do this many times because we're working non-destructively. So now I have that selection. I can turn off my Inkscape shapes, okay? Go back down to that cart path perimeter, highlight it, and then all I did was, let me just delete the mask. And now I did select, oh, I did layer, layer mask, reveal selection, and now I have that applied, okay? Now let me show you what that's going to look like inside of Unity. I'm going to have to pause and re-export. All right, so back in Unity, I exported my overlay again and applied it. And now you can see I've got some better lines on the outside here. Now my rock is still bleeding over. Now my cart perimeter GFR that I just did covers up a lot of this, but it's still bleeding out. So I'm going to have to go back in and clean this up, which means I'll probably have to go in, do my rock Inkscape shape, okay, select it, shrink it, and then go in and erase some of this, okay, and just in this area. And these are the touch-ups you're going to need to do depending how meticulous you're going to be. And I can look, yeah, I don't like this. This makes it look kind of washed out here. It doesn't look too bad, but again, still not a fan. So I'll have to fix that, and maybe I'll just do that really quick and then come back. So hopefully this little, I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to shrink this area. So you can see this is the area we were just looking at in Unity. And if you look here, you can see this is my cart path perimeter GFR, and you can see the white strip here, that is the bleed over. You can see I have some here, over here as well. I could just take a brush, I could go to my rock layer and I could take my brush and kind of fix this by hand, but that's taking a risk that I slip and I screw it up. So I like, this is again why I like to have all my Inkscape shapes in here and available. I'm just going to come up here to my Inkscape shapes. And then I am going to go to my rock reduced, which is what I called that shape. And it looks like, I haven't, oh no, I did. Okay. So let me just go, sorry, I'm thinking in my head here as I go. My magic wand, rocks reduced, I'm going to select this guy. And what I should do is, so remember, I expanded this when I colored it. So I should be able to easily now, if I have this selected, I can go back down into my, and it doesn't matter if I have a hard edge here because I'm going to be underneath the cart path shading. So I can just come back down here to my rock layer, go to my mask, change it to black, come up here to my brush tool, and you can see it's pretty, actually I should, because I've got my mask selected, I should just be able to invert that. Edit, invert selection, where is it? Maybe it's under image, nope. Copy, sorry, it's under select, inverse, okay? Now I have not this inside area, I've got the outside area selected. So I'm on my Rock 4 mask, black, and now I can just drag this over here and you can see I'm erasing that hazy outer line there that bled through, but not the one on the inside. So it's much easier to control without having to screw things up. There I had to be careful because I don't want to touch this over here. Same thing, I'm going to hit this, and I might pause this for a second and hit the other areas of my course while I've got a chance. All right, so I exported, I fixed all this, and now you can see that that shininess that was the bleed over here is gone, and I fixed that everywhere. I initially panicked because when I came in here, I was like, oh no, this is shallow shading all messed up here, but it's just my shadows. um, But you can see right now that's looking much better. I still have some work to do in this shading. This looks too washed out, but I'll get to that. But now you can see on the edge of this cart path, if I look far, there's some like brown shading and it disappears as you get closer. And of course, I could always come in here and I could change the blend distance to move that in closer if I wanted to, but it's actually not bad where it's at. And you can see as I back away, it comes in. And if I go up in the air, you can really see kind of, there it is. If I get, you can see that brown coming off the cart path. Now let's talk about the cart path itself. I think I'm going to do the cart path shading in a different video. This one's long enough.